Western Canada's wrestling radio show.
You're going to have fun tonight.
Welcome to McGuire on Wrestling.
A dazzling wrestling exhibition.
Here is Mike McGuire.
I love professional wrestling.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of McGuire on Wrestling, coming to you not just on the road this week, but we are broadcasting this episode entirely from the historic Victoria Pavilion in Calgary, Alberta. It is the home of Stampede Wrestling. It is the home of Dungeon Wrestling. It is the home and the house that Hart built. Literally, Brett's plaque is out front of the building here when you walk in. It's pretty crazy. They have that for him there from the Canadian Hall of Fame, Walk of Fame thing. And then, of course, Stu and the entire family, generations of Hart Family Wrestling coming to you from the building I'm sitting in right now. It's kind of eerie because we're producing this obviously well before the show starts, and it's empty in here. It's completely empty, but there's something about walking into this building that is so special and so surreal. Every time you get the chance to do it, it just feels more and more like you're part of wrestling history. So if you ever get the chance to walk into and be a part of a show at the Victoria Pavilion, I can't recommend it enough. Lady friend and I came up yesterday. We spent a little Valentine's Day together, and of course, what better way to say I love you than dragging her to a wrestling show? So she's going to be here tonight. Mitch and Dimitri are going to be here from the alternate commentary table helping me out with the play-by-play. And they're doing a thing called the Stu Hart Heritage Heavyweight Championship #1 Contenders Tournament. It's the wordiest title for a wrestling show I've ever been a part of. But at the same time, I don't care. The ring truck's going to be showing up soon. They'll be setting that up, so there might be some clanging and banging while we're doing things today. But most of all, it's just about being right in the heart of things, talking about professional wrestling. If you want to support the show, easy ways to do that. CelebrateWrestling.com is where you can find a link to donate by PayPal if you wish to do so. You can also just send us a T-shirt order. We got T-shirts up for the shows, and I know I was saying that we're going to have more shirts coming up. It's been a bit of a week for me, friends. Some of you know what's going on, some of you don't, but the bottom line is that I've been a little busy. Some organizing going on, so we're still going to give you a chance to buy more shirts. I'm just going to go ahead and knock the prices right down, too. We're just going to say that it is what it is until we sell out of the shirts. But you can find those on our Celebrate Wrestling Facebook page. There's 2 pages. There's the radio and podcast page, and then there's the radio and podcast discussion forum. Join them both, follow them both, and that's where you'll find out everything that's going on with this show. If you're listening on the radio, full episodes of this show, unedited, are via podcast form. Again, find Celebrate Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts, and you can also get bonus podcasts like the Alternate Commentary Table, which downloads every Sunday for you, and also Andy Evans and Stephen Bennett checking in with Legends and Champions. They're going to be back with a new show soon, so subscribe to the feed. You automatically get everything always free and always about pro wrestling. I want to thank a couple people, actually, this week that suggested doing a Patreon and for more content. And, that's something that we might examine way, way down the road here. But for now, we just like keeping it free. We love having you here. The biggest way you can support always isn't with your dollars. It's with your downloads. It's with your time. It's with your listening and your interaction, because just like you, we're all wrestling fans. We love talking about this stuff. Coming up this week, a special conversation I had with a guy I'll be hitting the road with next week. Davey Boy Smith Jr., a.k.a. Harry Smith, a.k.a. the British Bulldog. He's going to be on the road with Canadian Wrestling's Elite. I caught up with him before we hit the road together. They're actually already on that tour. I'll be on 3 dates with them in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, Medicine Hat, Alberta, and then back up here in Calgary the following Friday. Also, we're going to check in with Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer and talk about the Wrestling Observer Awards. And, of course, AEW's Grand Slam took place last night, or yesterday morning, wherever you are in the world, but we didn't get to see it officially till last night here in North America. So we'll talk all about that show, give you the results, and a lot more. But let's go ahead and get to some of the biggest stories in the last 7 days. It is the 5 Count.
You want to hear that breaking news?
Well, it seems like the perfect place to start. The most recent event, of course, AEW's Grand Slam Australia, which took place Saturday morning in North America, Saturday night in Australia. And, of course, a bunch of fans showed up for that one. Results? Not much in the way of gold changing hands. However, there were some interesting storyline progressions. We start off with the opening match of Jon Moxley taking on Konosuke Takeshita. That match going to a time limit draw. So obviously we're going to see that feud continuing. That wouldn't be all we would see of the Death Riders, though, as that show would continue to feature matches like Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir taking on Orange Cassidy and Timeless Toni Storm. The loser of that match would lose their hair, and well,
That disgusting, greasy hair of Wheeler Yuta will be left here in Sydney, Australia, Tony.
in other action, the women's tag team champions, the Babes of Wrath, retained their titles, however, would suffer an attack at the hands of AEW newcomer Lena Cross.
That's Lena Cross, Australian independent standout. But oh!
Cross then signing herself with Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, so we'll see where that feud goes. And in the main event for the AEW Championship, Brody King would fall to MJF.
Going for the heat seeker. Yes! Looks for it, finds it, covers 1, 2, 3.
After the Heat Seeker pile driver, MJF would get the 3 count, only to be confronted by Hangman Adam Page, who had won the number 1 contender spot earlier in the night. So that looks like it's going to be your main event for AEW Revolution. Well, this is a pretty cool story about a real-life wrestling couple coming together to help out some folks. Steve Macklin and Deonna Purrazzo are going to be putting on a special event called Tunnel to the Towers on June the 6th. It's going to be in Rahway, New Jersey, and it raises money for the families of military and first responders. Now, this is an organization that actually spawned after the 9/11 attacks in 2001, and they provide mortgage-free homes to Gold Star and fallen first responder families with children by building specially adapted smart homes for injured veterans and first responders. It'll be a wrestling show, and if you are in the area, tickets go on sale February 19th. The show is called Battle for the Brave, and you can find all the details on the official Instagram at T2T Wrestling. Well, lots of discussion going on about WrestleMania tickets and how reports are saying that tickets aren't going as fast as WWE would like. Last count saw tickets around 32 or 33,000 sold. And of course, this is behind the trend of last year. Some are looking at the repeat venue of Las Vegas, as well as lack of any big moments scheduled to happen just yet, although CM Punk versus Roman Reigns has been announced as one of your main events. There is no John Cena retirement match this year. There is no speculated return as of yet of any other legendary superstars, although it was announced that Stone Cold Steve Austin will be part of the WWE World Experience this time around for autograph signings. So, anything's possible, but they're taking different measures to try and boost ticket sales. One report even says reaching out to local venues in the Las Vegas area, not permitting them to broadcast the show within a 50-mile radius of the venue. Well, chalk this up for what's weird gets weirder, but during this past week's AAA TV, El Grande Americano, the original El Grande Americano, actually cut a full promo in Spanish calling out the other El Grande Americano. Yeah, it looks like they're going to have some sort of a showdown at some point here. It may even happen at the Rey de Reyes tournament, because that seems to be the implication. Nevertheless, for those that don't already know, all one of you, right now, El Grande Americano, the tall one, has been portrayed by Ludwig Kaiser. The original El Grande Americano, Chad Gable. Chad Gable, who, by the way, looks like a cheese shredder these days. He is so cut now. Nevertheless, these two look like they're going to be squaring off, possibly at the Rey de Reyes tournament. Of course, this is all going to be one of those shows where we're looking forward to things like the possible hair for championship match between El Hijo del Vikingo and Dominic Mysterio, the greatest AAA Mega Champion of all time. And if you missed TNA No Surrender, Dave and I were talking about this guy last week or a couple weeks ago, but Action Mike Jackson, at the age of 76, made his return to TNA Wrestling to take on Mance Warner with Steph DeLander. Well, Mance would win the match with some of Steph's help, but again, the story here is Action Mike Jackson, still active at 76 years of age. It was a quick match, but a fun one, and you still got to see the oldest tope ever. Well, still to come on the show, we're going to talk a little bit about the Wrestling Observer Awards that came out this past week. Reader voted, and we'll get some feedback on that, including comments that are coming from other wrestling personalities about the list, and a conversation with Harry Smith, Davey Boy Smith Jr., the British Bulldog. He's been doing some amazing things as of late, and he's going to talk a little bit about his upcoming tour, which I'll be a part of with Canadian wrestling's elite. This is McGuire on Wrestling, coming to you from the historic
This is McGuire on Wrestling. More than just McGuire on Wrestling, the Celebrate Wrestling podcast feed. Andy Evans and Stephen Bennett take you back to some of wrestling's biggest moments on Legends and Champions.
For many a seasoned fan conjures images not of glory, but of a truly spectacular failure.
My brother testified.
Laugh along with Mitch and Dimitri on the alternate commentary table.
Hello, Triple A Plumbing, Spiro speaking.
Oh, sorry, I was looking for quadruple A. No, this bomb.
Celebrate Wrestling wherever fine podcasts are carried. It's time for the Wrestling Observer Insider with Dave Meltzer. McGuire on Wrestling.
The Pavilion. Oh my God.
This is where I'm at right now. Yeah.
I haven't seen that place since the late 80s, probably.
Well, Dave Meltzer, welcome back to the Victoria Pavilion for the first time in a long time. But yeah, literally, they're setting the ring up across from us as we're doing our segment right now. So there's going to be some clanging, there's going to be some banging, but we're still going to talk about what we do here. So first of all, yeah, take it. I wish people could see the smile on your face right now. Like this is pretty exciting, but
yeah. Doing a show where you're at the Pavilion. That's like the Pavilion is like that's freaking historic. I mean, I know you go there all the time, but you know, the Pavilion is one of the like really historic wrestling buildings in the world.
Oh, dude, it's still goosebumps every time too. Every time. So
I'll tell you a funny story. I would say this is 1987. I was in Japan, and I was attempting to interview Chigusa Nagayo, who was like the big superstar Japanese woman wrestler.
Okay.
And I don't even remember what the subject was. And it was difficult because she didn't really know a lot of English and I didn't know any Japanese, but we were able to have a conversation. Mm-hmm. I go like, is there any place you would ever want to go wrestle? And first she makes a joke and goes, Boston, because of the Boston Crab. Right?
Yeah.
That's what she knew it from. And then she just goes, the Pavilion in Calgary.
Yeah.
Like she didn't say Madison Square, well, she actually had wrestled in Madison Square Garden, but it was the Pavilion in Calgary. Like to her, like from the wrestling magazines and like, you know, a lot of the people in Japan grew up on the British Bulldogs. You know what I mean? And so they saw all those photos of the British Bulldogs when they weren't in Japan. They were wrestling in Calgary.
So we had Mike Santana here on our last show. It was literally like 6 days before he was going to be facing for the World Championship again in TNA there. We've had all sorts of wrestlers of all ilks all come and try and get booked on these shows here because they know where it is and they know how special this place is. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's get down to some business here, Dave. Of course, a busy week for you as always, but the Wrestling Observer Awards did come out. And there's been lots of discussion about this. And now, I always say this, we have to say this. These are not Dave Meltzer's personal awards, personal feelings. There is some criticism out there, which we'll get to. But overall, I mean, these are your readers. This is your audience. Do you feel they were pretty much in line with what you see out there in the wrestling world? Or do you think there's maybe some things you dispute?
I think that overall, I mean, look, there's always going to be things that I disagreed with. But I understand where they're coming from. When you have that many people voting, you kind of get where they're coming from. But
right.
I mean, in most cases, I would say I agree with the sentiment. I might have had different people in different places, but the key people who won by a large margin, every single one of them should have won. And that's why they won by a large margin, because they should have won. And I think that overall, I was very impressed because there were people who won that did not, like that I did not cover much.
Yeah.
There were people who won that do not get a lot of mainstream coverage. It really shows the audience that reads the Observer. They're into wrestling all over the world. They're going to know about your top wrestlers in the small companies. It was a really, the Rookie of the Year one was really good because I didn't expect, like I had people tell me Sarah Yamaoka should win, and it was like, yeah, okay, but she doesn't have a chance, and she did. I mean, for months when it came to the Mystico thing, right? It was like everybody was just like, Mystico has to win. And I go, well, it's like, yeah, I completely agree. There was not even a doubt that he was number one, but can somebody from Mexico win? And it's like, no, I don't need to win. He won by a landslide. So it was
that was kind of the surprising thing for a lot of people. And I'm not against you. You and I have talked about Mystico a few times now because, again, this is not the same guy that we were dealing with 10 years ago when he was having the problems. And there was all the controversy around him after the WWE departure, right? Because there was a time where, you'd go like, is this guy did he get washed up real early? And there was a time where some fans could, maybe he had those moments too, but over the last little while, Mystico's really, really stepped up. So I don't have a problem with that at all.
The thing with him is that you have to understand is when he went to WWE the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote, and it wasn't just me, everyone who knew Mexico and also knew the United States and WWE culture, we all pretty much were talking about it, and we go like, he's going to fail, and he's going to fail big, and this is why. And there's all kinds of reasons having to do with cultural differences, him lack of understanding certain things, them lack of understanding certain things. It had no chance of making it, even though, he did sell a lot of merchandise, and he actually was like in the WWE video game.
Oh, yeah.
When he was in the video game, he was 1 year, he was the second most playable character, and another year, he was the third most playable character. And when WWE found about it, they freaked out because it was like, we don't even push him. This was after they'd already given up on him. People thought
after like the Sin Cara Negro thing had happened and all the other stuff, right?
So I mean, but it wasn't going to work. It was a different style, and there were people with completely different mentalities, and there were wrestlers who, he walked around like he was a big star, which he was, but the people in WWE go, well, you've never done anything. How come you're walking around? And it's like, I can tell you going in that this guy, it'd be like, he was, I don't think people understood what a big star he was. But anyway, what happened here is just in the last couple of years. He became the top star again, and he wasn't for a long time. Roosh was ahead of him, and the Dralistico was even ahead of him when he was Mystico, and he was Christico, and then he became Mystico, and it wasn't even overnight. It took a couple of years, but at some point he just clicked. The promotion clicked. He clicked. Became big with tourists, and then they had the year they just had, and this guy's out there working 250 nights a year and probably more. That's only the stuff that we even hear about. And incredible matches all the time, drawing big all the time. And it was just it was an incredible year for that company. And that company, I'm glad that company did so well in the awards, because it would have been a shame that a company that had such a great year would be overlooked. And I think a lot of the critics of the awards have no concept of the year they had. So therefore, they're kind of talking at it like from complete lack of knowledge.
Well, there's a couple, though, that I'm going to bring up that I do have to, again, scratch my head and go, whoa. But I do want to go with another one that I think I agree with 100% here. And it's difference. We've discussed this before, between the difference of the Wrestler of the Year and then Most Outstanding Wrestler, where you dedicate that more towards actually that's just what they've done.
That's bell to bell. Yeah.
And so that was Konosuke Takeshita, which, again, I've said from jump, I don't think Takeshita can do any wrong in my world. I think that guy is phenomenal. I've always thought he's great since I first saw him. And then another great nod, I think, because this is the pro wrestling business, and a lot of people will judge not just on bell to bell. And frankly, I think this one should even.
But that's what the other award's for. The other awards are not just for bell to bell.
But what I'm saying, though, is that this is the other one, though. If you talk to any wrestler out there that worries about anything, it's the best draw of the year. And I thought the best box office draw being John Cena. That makes all the sense in the world, obviously. Buddy sold out everything.
John Cena, Mystico, and Cody Rhodes were the big three. And I had little doubt on that one.
Yeah. So it's funny, right? I think it all depends on how you personally determine what a successful wrestling career can be, right? Because, you can get the rare combination that can do all three, right? But you can have like a best overall wrestler, a best technical, bell-to-bell wrestler, and you can have a best draw.
Just like in acting, just like in sports.
Exactly. Yeah.
In sports, you can have the real marketable players that aren't really the best players, but they're the most famous. For a variety of reasons, but doesn't make them necessarily the best. You're the best players on the field, and you got the players who get the most headlines. Sometimes they're the same. Often they're not.
We're talking to Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer at WrestlingObserver.com, and this is McGuire on Wrestling, wherever you're listening on the radio and online, coming to you from the Victoria Pavilion in Calgary. That's why you're hearing a lot of banging around right now. They're literally putting the boards on the ring right now, and we're getting ready for a Dungeon Wrestling show tonight here in Calgary. But going back to these awards here, again, I have very little issue with most of these. One that has come up in discussion, though, and I find kind of hard to believe and understand, although maybe it's the elements around it that maybe drew people's ire. Worst match of the year, John Cena, Cody Rhodes?
Yeah, I thought John Cena Cody Rhodes was an average match, maybe a little below average. But, everything that happens, I mean, like, look, Butterbean and Minoru Suzuki was the worst match I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you very much.
And it should have won. There's no doubt it should have won. Okay, I mean, and to be honest, the only reason it didn't is more people didn't see it. But even with that, I thought it was going to win in a landslide, so that one surprised me. John Cena and Gunther placed, and I thought that was an outstanding match. I mean, but people were mad about the finish, and I wasn't even mad about the finish. It was like. It was a decision, I mean, it was a debatable decision. I think in hindsight, the decision looks better than it did that night, honestly. But John Cena, Cody Rhodes, it was a disappointing match for the biggest, the biggest show of the year, the main match and the biggest show of the year.
And to be clear, this is the WrestleMania match we're talking about. This wasn't the.
No, the other one got votes for match of the year. So there you go.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think was close to match of the year, but it was pretty damn great. I disagreed with that. I have actually heard from people who said, well, we voted for it as the most disappointing match of the year. And it's like, well, as the most disappointing, you got the right. You know what I mean? It really was kind of a fiasco for such a big show, main event.
Yeah.
But it's not the worst match of the year. It's honestly not even in the 500 worst matches of the year.
Worst gimmick also is heel John Cena. I think that, again, this is going to be, I think it's based on what you said, though. I think this is probably more of what people have been exposed to overall as well, because there's other things out there, like you said, that people just haven't seen that probably didn't make the list, right? Like,
yeah. But I mean, heel John Cena was the biggest angle that they shot. And I mean, it wasn't the thing of why it did, and all of this did bad, I think has to do a lot with WWE Unreal and other things, because it was like, it exposed that they literally had no idea what they were doing.
They shine such a light on this glaring omission, right? Yeah.
But it's like we're going to turn John Cena heel because nobody expects it. Fine, well and good. But we have no idea where we're going. We have no idea what we're doing. We know we have to turn him back by the end of the year, and we didn't even have an idea how to do that. So just one day he turns back. So it was like, as far as execution, like all the negative WWE awards, I believe, were based on WWE Unreal exposing that they had no idea what they were doing with their biggest angle of the year. And because of that, I mean, I wouldn't say WWE was the worst promotion, but I would say that as far as, having no idea what you're doing with the biggest angle that you had of the year is not going to win you best promotion. That's for sure.
No. Okay, well, Dave, I appreciate that. And again, if people want to look at the entire list, the Wrestling Observer newsletter obviously has the entire list of categories here. Is there one that stands out that you want to talk about here, though, that you feel deserves some attention and maybe you agreed or disagreed with more?
No, not really. I mean,
because I like a lot of these, like Most Improved. I mean, Pro Wrestling Illustrated also said the same thing about Harley Cameron. I think that's becoming a complete package. That's becoming a complete package.
It's a choice. I mean, Most Overrated. I thought Jade Cargill would win in a landslide, but I mean,
Jey Uso got that award, by the way. Yeah.
I think that there's a thing with Jey Uso, and I'm not sure, but it's like there's definitely this negativity from people because he's. He gets such a big reaction. It's the weirdest thing, because someone who was at a house show not a house show, but a TV taping brought this up to me just recently and said, like, you go there, every time he's on the screen, everybody boos. Everybody boos. Then he comes out and they all go crazy. And it's like Hulk Hogan in the old days where it's like they pushed him really hard all year and then they kind of scaled back on him and people are kind of like, well, see, he wasn't that good. And I don't know. I mean, I thought Jey Uso was pushed kind of where he should have been. I mean, I don't think there was anything wrong with pushing him. He had a lot of momentum. They lost the momentum, and maybe they would have lost it anyway. I think there's people who are just like, well, he didn't deserve that push to begin with. And, I mean, that's, overrated is kind of in a lot of ways overpushed. But to me, that's still Jade Cargill.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fair. And like I said, it's all opinion really at the end of it here. We're talking to Dave Meltzer again from the Wrestling Observer. We're live from the Victoria Pavilion today where they are setting up the ring for tonight's Dungeon Wrestling show. You know me, Dave. I don't like to get into feuds. I don't like to get into people that are naysayers and things like that. But I found this interesting because some people will say that I'm guilty by association by having you on the show here. Eric Bischoff has had some things to say about this. Oh, God,
come on. Eric Bischoff doesn't even watch wrestling. He wouldn't even... I don't even think, like, I mean, anything he says when it comes to me is like, it's total ignorance because He hasn't. Probably the last time he read an issue of the Observer was like in the 90s. So how would he even have a clue?
Well, I'm gonna quote here, and again, this isn't, dude. I'm just here to talk about it because I find it fascinating because this is taking, and maybe this is just trying to get some clickbait or something. I don't know.
That's all it is. It's Eric
Okay.
Bischoff. Eric Bischoff clings to me to try to stay relevant, and the reality is that look, he doesn't even follow wrestling. How would he know?
Well, the quote is, can you imagine what group of Observer voters in a room would be like? Can you imagine hanging out there for an hour or two? I mean, you've got Dave as the head. Hold on.
Golly, I've been in the room. We go to conventions all the time. The guys are cool. It's like, this is a guy who wouldn't even know. He would have no clue. I mean, he's probably jealous because the last time we were in Chicago together, he's over here and I'm over here, and there's this giant line for me and there's no line for him. I mean, it's like it's like I know that like going after me is like an easy target, because there's always going to be the people who only know WWE, and it's like he says things other than WWE is good, and it's like, yeah, duh. But Eric plays to the lowest denominator, and it's
okay.
That's his thing.
I got to finish the quote though, Dave. I got to finish the quote here.
Do you think Eric even knows who 70% of the wrestlers who placed are? I doubt.
No, well, and again, there's I'd probably say I don't know about 10-20% of them. So that's that, but that's me. He says you've got Dave as, and I apologize for this in advance. But he says you've got Dave as the head gooner that they all look up to and view the world through the Dave Meltzer lens. Of course, they're going to get this kind of responses. This is the line that I kind of took on.
Okay, so I got to say one thing about this one.
Yes,
and I mean it's Sarah Yamaoka won Rookie of the Year.
Okay,
I never wrote about her all year. I never wrote about her.
Okay.
One year, Zack Sabre won Best Technical. Somebody went back through 52 weeks of Observers, and aside from results of matches with Zack Sabre, I never wrote a word about him.
Dear Lord,
these people watch the people who are reading the Observer. They watch wrestling all over the world. That's why they read the Observer. Okay, the people who don't, only care about WWE, some of them might read it, but this is as when it comes to the intelligence of the wrestling fans, this is the creme of the creme. Is the
okay? This is my
they're watching everything.
This is my point of this. Okay, and again, dude, I like to like everybody. I like liking things. You know me, I'm a happy-go-lucky dude. This is why I had a problem with this, though, is he said these are the most culturally isolated, irrelevant group of people you could ever imagine.
Culturally isolated. It's the most culturally unisolated. Think about it. Look, we had winners from small promotions in Japan. We had winners from Mexico. This is the most culturally unisolated wrestling group of fans that you're going to have. The culturally isolated would be any awards that only had Americans winning. Okay, this is the opposite. It's the opposite. You can just look at it and go like, well, if anything, the last thing they are is culturally isolated.
And that's just it. You know what? I mean, like I said, I love having you on the show. You and I have been doing this for years now, and I love your insights and stuff. But you and I don't always agree on stuff either, and that's the way it should be. It's pro wrestling, right? Like, honestly, why do people get so pent up about this? And so, I mean, I appreciate you addressing that. I don't want to start a fight here, okay? I'm not trying to get Eric Bischoff on the show. If he wants to come on, sure. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to.
You should go and like people like Voices of Wrestling look at this stuff all the time.
Sure.
The stuff that involves me, and they're really pretty damn positive when it comes to, they basically laugh these guys off because it's like, look, I'm out here working really, really hard to learn wrestling, and these guys are coasting from knowledge of 27 years ago. And it's like, it's easy to do that if you play to an audience that doesn't watch everything. You play to an audience that watches everything. They see through every one of these guys.
I'm going to close the book on that chapter, okay? We're done here with the Bischoff stuff. But honestly, I do appreciate the list. I appreciate the awards. And I like it because I get to learn about talents like you just said that I don't know about sometimes. Like, I'll check it out. You know what I mean? We have people come through our shows here at Dungeon and other wrestling shows I do I may have never heard of before. So I get to watch their stuff, see them come here, do their thing. Geez, even guys you do know. Like, I saw Mike Santana live, and I got to tell you, I was blown away compared to seeing him on TV. Like, I enjoy watching him on TV, sure, but seeing him live was a totally different experience. Like, it's all what you expose yourself to, right, when it comes to wrestling, I think. And that's what is going to shape your likes and your dislikes. So thank you for taking that on. We're going to move on from that. The other big story that came out over the last thing, and actually when we finished our call last week, you told me about this, and that was the WrestleMania ticket sales. Well, since you said that story has kind of gotten a life of its own now. There's stories now about maybe some bars and venues and maybe even movie theaters not being allowed to show WrestleMania in Vegas.
Right now, there's a lot of controversy in Vegas because when the tourism brought them in, they brought them in for tourism, okay? And then WWE, because ticket sales aren't good. I mean, the thing is, I first heard about this at least a month ago. It didn't really come out, but I mean, I remember going there's rumors going around Vegas that everything's going to be shut down as far as being able to show the thing within 50 mile radius, I believe it was. And it kind of came out as a story this week. And it's, the tourism board thinks it'll hurt tourism coming in because not everyone that comes to Vegas goes to WrestleMania.
Right.
But most of them want to watch WrestleMania. But if you're like, we can't even watch it within 50 miles, you're going to go like, we don't really need to come. We can stay home and watch it. And the other thing is the ticket prices, the thing that hurt WrestleMania, the ticket prices were overpriced. That's the reality. If they had sold all the tickets, I would say they're not overpriced, but they didn't. So the ticket price, and the other problem is a cultural thing, which is basically like, Canadians going to Las Vegas is down 23% year over year.
Oh yeah. No, the travel thing. Trust me, that's a big story up here right now too. Is that Canadians are finding Canadian things to do,
and they're in Vegas. I mean, worldwide travel to Vegas is down 9.2%. But Canadians is 23%. Canadians make up a lot of wrestling fans that come to WrestleMania. So there's a lot of that, and just the hotels are a lot more expensive this year. People went last year. There's a lot of things. They're still going to do good. I mean, they got 38,000 tickets out at this stage. It's not the greatest. They'll have 50,000 in the building. 60, I don't know. If they paper, they can get 60. No one's going to turn down a free ticket to Mania. They'll probably pack the place. But yeah, they had meetings. They're talking about changing up the whole freaking card. And it's like, people don't even know the card. They think like if we do a better card, and it's like, you got your card, even though people don't know the card. They had a card, in January for the whole thing. So there you go.
Well, Dave, this has been a fun segment. We got a little fired up there too. It's good. I appreciate it, man. Again, I hope you enjoyed the ambiance of the pavilion here. That's what we got to do. Okay, I'll tell you right now. Our next show for Dungeon is April 3rd. It's the Easter long weekend. I don't know if you're busy or not, but if you want to come up, come on up because it would be. I got to tell you, they're literally making sure the boards are in place right now. We got the ring tech hopping up and down, but. But I'll tell you, man, even doing the show with you from here today, it just feels different. It's a good vibe, and I always appreciate your feedback. Of course, if people want to keep tabs on things like the Wrestling Observer Awards, and if you're a subscriber, you get to be a voter in this as well. That's something to remember. But what else can they check out in the Wrestling Observer newsletter? Yeah,
this is like a giant issue, because all the awards, which includes all the winners dating back to 1980, and all the placings and all the different, there's over 40 categories, from MVP from, every region, women's MVP, MMA awards. It's just a whole big list of awards that people vote on every year. And, it's a pretty well-rounded voting group. But yeah, we talk a lot about the WrestleMania stuff. We got talked to a lot of people in Vegas. We got a lot of details about like everything that's going down between matches on the card that may be there and may be changed. Everything on the media stuff, media coverage of AEW with the Brody King stuff. We got a lot on that. A lot on that one. Big story on Tadao Yasuda, who was a Japanese wrestler of pretty much intrigue, between MMA, pro wrestling, sumo. I mean, he was a star, former IWGP champion. He passed away and lived kind of a weird life, a lot of gambling problems, tried to commit suicide once. Big story on him. And I think that was like some of the main stuff in this week's issue.
There you have it, Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer, WrestlingObserver.com. Appreciate you, sir. We'll catch up next week.
Okay, have a great week.
Coming up next, as we continue the show from the Victoria Pavilion in Calgary, Alberta, getting ready for Dungeon Wrestling, we talked to a guy who has defended the championship in this very building and now is going across the country with Canadian Wrestling's elite. Harry Smith, a.k.a. Davey Boy Smith Jr., the British Bulldog, is up next.
This is McGuire on Wrestling. McGuire on Wrestling, Western Canada's wrestling radio show.
Brett the Hitman Hart, how are you, sir?
I'm very good.
Now spanning BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan.
MVP.
It's good to be back with you, Mike.
You can hear extended versions of the show, bonus podcasts, and exclusive interviews by following the Celebrate Wrestling podcast feed.
Killer Cross.
I'm actually enjoying this conversation.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. Just search and subscribe to Celebrate Wrestling. Welcome back to McGuire on Wrestling.
From Valentine's Day, which if you're listening to this when the show airs, till March 1st. Wow, that's a big stretch. This man going to be on the road with Canadian Wrestling's Elite. You know him from everywhere. Yeah, old friend of the show, returning, ladies and gentlemen, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith Jr. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Mike.
Thanks for coming on, dude. Last time you and I hung out, to this day, one of the most downloaded episodes because you gave us an update as to what happened when your guts basically went kablooey on you. Since then, it's been nothing but go for you. I remember even a month later, I think I was seeing you doing insane workout videos and those crazy crawls and stuff you do.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct.
And now you're back at it in full gear here. So tell us, first of all, you're feeling great. Things are going well. You're feeling like everything should be where it is.
Yeah, well, I'm feeling night and day better compared to the last time when we had spoken at the pavilion there. You know, I just had my appendix removal and diverticulitis. So luckily there's been no flare-ups of that since. So I haven't needed any other hospital visits for that, and I've been keeping an eye on my stomach, and all that's been going great. So since then, I reappeared with All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that.
I was on the New Year's Eve event of December 23rd or December 31st, 2023, and then won the All Japan Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship in October of 2024, and I've been pretty much living in Japan for 6 months since then, and it's been going great, and I've been busy, and my the competition there is great. Working hard over there, so I'm in tip-top shape and feel like I'm better than ever, ready to go at it. And I have a break right now, Yasumi in Japanese, which means break, until probably the summertime. So be at the CWE events and 17th anniversary, and right here home in Calgary, February 20th. So I'm very excited about that.
When's the last time you did dates back to back like this, or is that the way it is in Japan, where you're just constantly wrestling all the time?
Well, the Japanese tours are pretty, they can be pretty strenuous. The traveling and hard work is something I'm used to. So it's not going to be a huge deal, except for it might be cold in some areas. But prior to when I won the Triple Crown, All Japan had done a tour of North Japan and Sapporo, Hokkaido for, I think it was 11 shows in 12 days. Yeah. And I was traveling every day and hard-hitting shows, and it was cold. So this is not something foreign to me, but it's hard work. But 16 days in a row every day, I think that will maybe making an improvement. And CWE, you get stronger as you go along, and we have a great crew there, so the tour will probably fly by pretty fast. So it'll be exciting. Looking forward to seeing all my Canadian fans as well.
Let's talk a little bit more about the time in All Japan. And sure. I know the lineage with your championship reign there, Triple Crown. I mean, this is something that hadn't been done for decades by a foreign wrestler in All Japan. And you went on and got this opportunity to be celebrated as that guy. I was actually going back and watching some of your matches here before we started talking today, and just the presentation, the spirit you have going into these matches. I think it's unlike anything anybody's ever seen on this side of the world. If you haven't seen Davey Boy Smith Jr., Harry Smith wrestle in Japan, you really have to watch these videos because you just seem to turn it on a different level here.
Yeah.
What's it like for you going there, knowing that you could easily go in and just coast off of who you've been?
Yeah,
but going in there and wanting to be something different. Like you still have the gear, you still have the name, obviously, but I even noticed like the music's different, the presentations. You just seem very much yourself, but very much different when you do those matches there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way of putting it. So the best way I can describe that is, I'm just when I go to All Japan, because when I was a teenager growing up, I always, I was a huge All Japan Pro Wrestling fan. Not fan, but, like when I was a teenager, I would like back in, I'm sure you remember the Trent Walters trading tape days and buying tapes from High Spots and whatever. So, you couldn't just go onto YouTube. So these things were kind of arcane to most people. And I was able to get a hold of them, and I knew of a lot of the Japanese guys from my father. And I didn't know a whole lot about All Japan until I was about 15 or so. And then I caught on to some videos from the tape trading underworld, and I got really interested in it. So All Japan was always something that the wrestling style, like Mizawa, Kobashi, Kawada, all of those guys seemed to interest me more than, not more than North American style. It just was different. And it seemed to suit me better. So the best way I can describe it is when I go to All Japan, I'm able to honestly express myself better. As Bruce Lee would say, with most martial arts, it's honestly expressing yourself. So I've been able to honestly express myself better with All Japan Pro Wrestling, and try to learn the Japanese language as well. It's been a lot of fun, but it is challenging. But it's been a good challenge and something to motivate me. So you always have to look at what the challenge is and what motivates you. So All Japan and the Japanese fans definitely motivate me a lot. And whenever I go in the ring, I always try to think to myself, if Giant Baba was here today, the old owner of All Japan Pro Wrestling, I wouldn't want him to be disappointed in the performance. So even if we were doing a small country town show on a Sunday afternoon, last day of the tour before we go back to Tokyo, I want to still put in 100% effort. So the motivation, because of what I feel All Japan did for me as a kid, and my motivation and the respect that I have for Giant Baba, it's not hard work. It's the passion, so. I
love that, man. No. And it radiates through again. I might even throw some links up here in the interview in the digital version, because
thank you. Please do.
These matches, well, they're fun to watch, man, because honestly, like I said, it's a different you, I mean, we kind of grew up together a little bit in the early days there with the old PWA, and you were
at Reds and the where was the university, the
Nate gym,
the big gym,
the big gym at Nate, but I mean, that's the thing, you were always Davey's kid, and everybody wanted you to do all the Davey Boy stuff and British Bulldog stuff. And that's great. But man, you just bring a different level here. And the fact that you,
thank you,
use such an old school way to train. And again, like your workout videos, honestly, they scare the hell out of me, to be honest with you here. But I might try one of those crawls one time when the shoulder gets better, but we'll see. But in the meantime, like you're just doing something that I think you said it perfectly there, where you're expressing yourself truly your own way. And I think that's what fans can look forward to on this tour. Again, going from February 14th all the way to March 1st, these towns, I mean, some of these are going to reign familiar for you. Winnipeg, Regina, Medicine Hat, Calgary, obviously, Edmonton.
Yes.
But then you're in the other places too. You're in like the White Courts, the Lloydminsters. Yorkton has a great little fan base there. The Yorkton fans are something. I've been to one of those CW shows there as well.
Yeah. And one thing that I think that is great is that Danny Duggan and CWE that they're able to do 16 days of traveling of shows all over Canada, because it's, the thing about it is, like, back in the old days of WWF, I know that the travel schedule was completely insane, and the amount of shows that they were doing. But at the same time, nowadays there's not a lot of places for guys to get that much work every single day in a row. And that's good, because you toughen yourself in the ring, and you also become more comfortable with who you are in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And I think that can show a lot better. And, a lot of times, a lot of these guys in the 80s and stuff, I think that they were more in their character than they were the real person. But when you watch the old stuff, it's a lot different. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that it is hard work, but when you're working that much, 16 days in a row, you will get better. You really will. So that's I think a great thing. And unfortunately the territory's on the round, but Danny with CWE, it's a good challenge for the guys, and they will get better and improve and up their game. So I think that's fantastic.
It's the CWE 17th anniversary tour, again, going across Western Canada, throughout Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. Harry, I keep wanting to call you Harry. I'm going to keep calling you Harry.
You can call me Harry. It's fine.
But Davey Boy Smith Jr., as I'll announce you to the ring when we actually do our shows here. Again, looking so forward to it, man. We'll catch up again a little better on the road here. I think once we have the couple dates underneath us here, we'll catch up and see how you're feeling and everything. But looking very forward to the shows. Again, if you want to get tickets to this, just look up Canadian Wrestling's Elite Tickets wherever you're listening to this and be a part of these shows. But Harry, we'll see you in about a week's time, buddy.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'll see you then, Mike. Thank you. And look forward to seeing all the fans. Check me out at DB Smith Jr., Instagram and Twitter, and you can keep up to date with the CWA tour as things go along. Progress.
There you have it. Harry Smith, a.k.a. the British Bulldog, a.k.a. Davey Boy Smith Jr. And, the wrestlers are all here now. The pavilion going to be packed in just a few hours. Of course, whenever you're downloading this, thank you for doing that. Keep spreading the word. Just met Gigi Ray a minute ago. Very excited to call her match tonight with Ava Lawless. And it's going to be a ton of fun here. Ton of fun. As far as the show goes, we're not going anywhere. And if you want to keep supporting, CelebrateWrestling.com is where you can do that. You can also find more show details on our other shows on that website. And, of course, if you subscribe to the podcast feed as well, you'll see all the results for that. A couple more things to let you know in the next coming weeks here. A few more interviews on the way. And something a little different on the podcast feed this week. Starting on Wednesday night or so, there's going to be a mini cast by yours truly, and I'm going to podcast each day on the road with CWE. So take you kind of through what happens with me on the tour. Maybe we grab some guests, talk to some people, some wrestlers, maybe some fun stories from the road, or maybe, frankly, it's uneventful and nothing happens. We're going to be facing a ton of bad weather that's coming through the area. We're going to be in 3 very different markets, and it should be a pretty interesting and wild ride. So I hope you can join us for that. Again, subscribe to the Celebrate Wrestling podcast feed. McGuire on Wrestling is where you'll get that. The mini cast coming as a bonus. And again, always free, always about pro wrestling. Also, while I'm here, as soon as I'm done producing today's show, I'm going to try and grab some of the stars of our dungeon show here and talk to them because, frankly, it's a loaded card. We've got a bunch of great acts here, a bunch of great new faces, and some people I've never met before who all seem pretty cool. And I think you should get to meet them as well. If you have any feedback, you are welcome to share it, of course. We're also on Instagram at Celebrate Wrestling, and you can also email me directly, McGuireShow@yahoo.com. That's MCGUIRE show@yahoo.com. I got the Yahoo because my Gmails are all confusing, so it's fine. Okay, things are starting to get heated up here as we're getting ready to go. I'm going to try and grab some more of these wrestlers, like I said, and get some conversations. But as always, keep enjoying the wrestling. Keep liking things. Please, for the love of God. And if anybody out there knows Eric Bischoff and want to invite him to retort on this show, he's more than welcome to as well. Either way, thanks again for listening and letting me do what I do. Until next week, play safe, drive safe. Be seen ya.
McGuire on Wrestling on online, and on the radio. You can hear extended versions of the show, bonus podcasts, and exclusive interviews. Just search and subscribe to Celebrate Wrestling. Always free, always about wrestling. CelebrateWrestling.com.